Hey guys, I'm Sifu Mike, and this is Tactical Kung Fu Mixed Martial Arts, and I'm making this video as a reply to some of the negative comments that I've gotten over the years. And actually some of them are very much like 3 years old, and I'm just now getting to it, and I'm not even like, my fancy camera isn't set up. I have already done my cancer fundraising challenge. I did like 910 push-ups earlier. This was already set up. This is a webcam. It's not even the best video quality. Not even using my fancy audio setup, just a webcam, because I was like, you know, I gotta finally reply to some of these things, even though they're very low on my priority list. Because honestly, man, I don't make money from YouTube. This channel isn't monetized, and so yeah, I mean, your comments aren't completely insignificant. If they were, I would have deleted them. I meant to reply to them, but I just, had much better things to do, like earning money, paying rent, and doing what I enjoy doing, which is martial arts and making videos that people comment on, right? And so I didn't feel like the need to try to pin out and type out and do exactly what you do to get in this thing. I was just like, hey man, I'm going to do what I do, which is talk to myself in a camera. And so this whole series of videos is going to be a reply to very much all the negative feedback that I've gotten, or negative comments on some of the videos. And I'm just like, I'm going to make it all in one big video and just be done with it, one kind of blanket video. This is always going to be my reply to virtually everything, because they're basically all the same. They really are. Moving on to the very last thing, so this video isn't too terribly long. Like I said, I'm probably going to chop it up, because some of these things are not applicable to the people I'm replying to. I've got a few comments from like people who I guess are black belts in a martial art or something. I mean, they don't give enough information to actually let me know who they are. They're just negatively commenting on a thing they've never done before. They're forming an opinion based on something they know nothing about, which is the very definition of prejudice. You can really, I hate this industry, I really do, because you can take every ism that there is, ageism, sexism, racism, all the isms, okay, you can apply them to martial arts, and they're there, and they're 100 times worse, because nobody cares about the martial arts industry. So I don't blame anybody for not wanting to be in the industry. I don't blame, because, like, look, if you play your cards right, you can go your entire life without ever getting hit in the face, unless you go to certain martial arts schools where it's almost guaranteed the first class you get hit in the face, because they're like, oh, you need to learn how to do this. Like, now why don't you teach them how to avoid being hit in the face, right? The very easy thing, if you don't want to get in a bar fight, don't go to a bar. It's just that kind of simple stuff. So you have these guys who, like I said, I'm probably the only person in my industry that actively, honestly, incredibly hates my industry. It's just filled with a bunch of assholes. I can't stand them. In fact, there's a guy, Social Jello, on YouTube. It's a really cool guy. He's in Japan. He does a podcast. I've been on it. And he has the same questions for all of his people that he interviews. And one of them is, what is your least favorite thing about the industry? Everybody, I mean everybody, after I don't know how many hundreds of times he's had that podcast and that interview, every single person always says politics. Everybody hates everybody. That's the worst thing about this industry. Nobody cares about, like, self-defense and actually being fit and learning. They're all just like, I'm all about me. I'm insecure and egotistical and just like, just I can't stand it. I just, like, again, bunch of bigots, right? Sitting there commenting on something, commenting on teaching techniques, and I'm like, you haven't taken a class here. Like, you don't understand how I teach, my entire process. Because the thing is, yeah, some of your stuff might be true, but you can be correct and incorrect at the same time. Just depends on the context, which you do not know. You don't know your own context. You don't know the context of the other thing. You're so busy just trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, and you're like, oh, this is crap because it doesn't fit my round hole. Okay? Or square peg or whatever like that. I'm just making a metaphor. It's been 30 minutes. I've already done a push-up, bunch of push-ups. I'm tired. I got to bring a protein shake waiting for me. But I feel like, I need to do this while this stuff is set up. So you have people who are sitting there commenting about my teaching techniques. And the thing is that I Mr. Miyagi people. I have them do really ridiculously silly things sometimes, because what they are working are very important things. You just don't know that because I didn't have a video explaining for 10 minutes what's actually going on in the video and what's going on in the mind and everything like that. I know this because I've got 300 some odd videos on my YouTube channel that is me talking just like this, and nobody watches them. Nobody! Unless it has punching and kicking and crap like that in it, people aren't going to watch it. So I'm not going to make these videos. You're talking about they're trying to answer questions that nobody is asking, right? I'm not going to spend any time making these in-depth videos about stuff that I talk about in class because nobody's going to watch them. And you're all huffing and puffing, you didn't do this. You're like, I don't understand this thing. It's not my way. There are multiple different ways of doing something. That's one of the things that go in class. I show 5, 6, 7 different ways of doing the same thing because what works best for me may not work best for another person. What works best for both of us may not work best for that person. I got to have all these different things. Yes, it is very true. You take from the martial art and you make it your own and what works best for you. As the student, that's awesome. You're supposed to do that. As the instructor, no. You've got to have those 10 different ways. Otherwise, you exclude a whole bunch of other people. 300 million people that you've excluded because you're you have to do it this way. That's only good for my body type. Those are the only things that I can do. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I don't fault anybody for not ever wanting to be a part of the martial arts industry because it's filled with asshats like you. Period. Bunch of fucking asshats. Guys who just, they don't know shit. Right? They have shit for brains because their ass is, their head is shoved up either their ass or somebody else's ass. They're freaking asshats. All of them. Just, it just bugs the crap out of me. That's what I have to deal with all the time. That's why the people at my school, tkfmma, over there, right there, okay, they don't have to deal with that. I've spent tons of time sheltering them and keeping them away from all that garbage of people who just don't understand what they're seeing and think, dude, I've had 20 different instructors. Okay, some really good, some really bad. I've got a lot of different instructors. And like I said before in other videos, I've signed off by no less than 6 grandmasters. So my stuff is good, right? It's been vetted, but I'm not going to post a video of people actually doing the training because some of it is boring. It's muscle memory, right? It's like I'm going to hit this bag for 5 minutes just doing this number. I got motion blur because I don't have a good camera. But I'm doing this over and over and over again because muscle memory, because when this thing overloads and has that adrenaline dump and they don't know what's going on, the body's like, oh, I got this. Because I've been doing this a ridiculous amount of time within the actual class time. You don't see that on YouTube because that isn't, nobody's going to watch a person for 5 minutes just punching a bag. Really, I mean, you gotta understand not just how teaching works, but how this stuff works. Okay, literally, nobody's even gonna there's a large contingency of people, even though this might be a very informative video, are not gonna watch this thing because I'm not running around punching and kicking. Gosh, it's just it absolutely bugs me. And the thing that you're not even just commenting on drills you don't understand and techniques you don't understand, but you're natively commenting on students. Okay, look, Seafood Mike, my email, my phone number for this business, all over everything, all over the internet. You go to my website, you can call the school, and since I just told you I'm the only one here, I teach every single class but 3, and those 3 I'm still here for. There's a good chance I'm going to pick up that phone, right? If I don't pick up that phone, that means I'm teaching. But I'm going to pick up that phone. If you email me, I'm going to reply, right? So if you have an issue with anything that I teach, you leave my students, people who are still learning, out of it, right? You talk to me. Me. All right? Don't be a freaking fucking coward and sit there behind your keyboard and anonymously be like, I'm not going to name drop. I'm not going to say who I trained with 30 years ago because I'm old. You know, you should do it this way. Like, no, you contact me, you talk to me, we'll have a nice, simple discussion about how I do things my way, and it's not the way that you do things. Okay? Because I've been doing things this way for a very long time. In some cases, probably more than you have. Even old people who've been doing martial arts for a long time, they've only been doing one martial art, and they've only been doing it a couple hours a week. Like I said, 4 hours a week for over 40 years is how long I've been doing it, and I'm not even 40. That's how much time I spent into just teaching. Okay, there's like the whole fact that I know a whole bunch of other stuff and been doing a lot of martial arts, and this is all I do. Apparently, I'm so good at it that this is all I have to do, and I somehow still find time to make videos on YouTube. Right? I mean, seriously, honestly, if you think I'm going to respond to you and you're not even addressing me, you're addressing my students, the ones who can't defend themselves, the ones who are just happy to do stuff about things, and like, I'm glad that they're doing it because there's 300 million other people just in the US who are not doing that. All right, that's what you should be looking at. You feel like, man, they're doing great. They're like, you're not even seeing the fact that some of these videos like are at the end of having done a whole bunch of other stuff, and they're still going. All right, it's just ridiculous. Like I said, I don't fault anybody for not wanting to be in the industry because it's filled with a bunch of assholes like you. Hands down. But you talk about young tigers and stuff, whatever. You know, I'm gonna let you know, talking straight to you, that most of us, I mean, they're gonna be respectful. They're not gonna say this, but I'll say this: we're waiting for you to die. All right, we're waiting for you to just leave the industry and be away because we're done with this. We want to do martial arts, right? And I've been fortunate enough to be sided with a bunch of really awesome people. Like I said, I got one that trains here, man. He's a grandmaster, which if you want, man, tkfmma is the only place in the state really you can train with the grandmaster. So, yeah, and like I'm only a 6th degree. He's freaking 10th. He's up there, man. He's awesome. I know, and some of the other guys I'm under, also awesome. I have had the very good fortune of being under some incredibly awesome people. So that's it. That's what I'm gonna leave it at. Like I said, this is my response to all the negative comments that I've gotten, and some of you guys might be 12. That's fine. You're ignorant. I'm trying to help you out. I have dedicated a lot of content on my YouTube channel that nobody's watching that is really there to explain just how much, like how bad the martial arts industry is. Now, I don't even frame it like that. I was being nice. I'm going to say, hey, it could be better. But really, you're being prison fucked in the ass by the fat end of a baseball bat covered in barbed wire. And I'm trying to help you out. But no, you're just like, ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. What is that? Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. I don't know. Let me give you more money. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Dumb fucks, all of you. People in the industry. Lots of them. Lots of them. There are some really legitimately smart people, awesome people, great at doing martial arts. I give credit where it's due, but then there's some people who are just dumb as shit. And, yeah, whatever. So I'm making these videos about them, and also I will say this: the thing that bugs me out, this is a pet peeve of mine as far as video work is concerned, right? you see all these martial arts, like, oh, this is a great video, whatever. One, they're not going to put whatever out there. They're going to put the best they have out. And when they do, it's going to be edited. That's the thing. I put out a video, there's hardly no edits of me. It's one take. One take. This is one take of me talking. I'm that good. Okay? These guys can't get through a freaking sentence without having to do some kind of cut. Right? And it's martial arts, man. It's digital. You can speed this up. Every single editor has a thing where it's like you can speed up the frame rate just a little bit or a lot. You know, sometimes noticeable, sometimes not. Right? This has been going on since, like, I think The Matrix was one of the first movies that actually would speed up stuff, and people didn't quite notice it, right? So if it's filmed digitally, it's sped up. I guarantee you. Just look at the behind the scenes of most films. They'll show an action sequence. They're like, man, that's really slow, right? It's much slower than what's actually on the screen, okay? And so you have that aspect. Then you have guys who just have no idea about their own martial art. They just don't know. They don't know the context. They don't know why it was created in the first place. And they're like, oh yeah, my martial art is good. I can beat you at your own game. No, their martial art was designed for that game, for that thing. Everything was designed for a reason. So I see all these videos of like this art losing against this art and blah 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 blah, and that's because they're both dumb fucks. Right? They both don't know their other martial art, or actually maybe they do, and they're like, I'm gonna bait this person into playing my game, and you can win any game if you play by your own rules. So if you get somebody else to play by your own rules, then hey, you've already got a massive advantage on them. Okay? And so it's just like, literally, these people are giving all these different martial arts a bad name because they don't know their own martial art. It's like, yeah, put it into context. It's like you played basketball all your life, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, go play a linebacker in a football game. Let's see how well you do. You're going to be doing great. You're going to win this game. You played basketball all your life, but now we're going to be in a football game. Let's see how well you do. See if you don't get tackled or whatever like that. It's just, that's that dumb. Okay, I think I even made the reference earlier, like you're really good at like making ice cream, and all of a sudden you're like, I am the best neurosurgeon ever. Okay, no! The only thing they have in common is a freaking brain freeze. Anyways, people are dumb. That's all it is. But not the people in my school, tkfmma. Our people are good. And if you got a problem with that, you take it up with me directly. Right? You can leave all the negative comments you want. I will respond eventually. Like I said, channel isn't monetized. I don't get any money from it. I just enjoy this. I'm just trying to help people out to not get taken advantage of, have their ignorance taken advantage of. That's like the number one thing behind business. It's like, oh, we're going to keep them ignorant so that we can profit off of that. Economics. I got other YouTube channels, other YouTube videos about this whole concept, but this is just me responding to the negative feedback of people who just do not understand anything, and whatever. You know, if you think that you might have trained with some of my contemporaries, maybe you should have like listed those guys, because like I said, human body only moves in so many ways. So there's a good chance that what you did is exactly the same as some of the stuff that I did. But the odds that you actually trained with some of the people that I trained with, very, very small. Very small. Because like I said, the people that I'm under are awesome. They really are. Anyways, I'm going to check out of here. This has been a long video. I'm going to chop it up. I'm Seafood Mike, and regardless of how you feel, you should always treat people good. I mean, I'm sitting there, I know it's ironic, I just called a whole bunch of people asshats, but whatever. You know, try to treat them good. Do your best. Nobody's perfect. But yeah, so I'm trying to end this on a positive note as best I can. But you know, it's a mirroring thing. You know, if you give negativity, you can't expect anything but negativity in return. That's always going to happen. And so this is just me explaining things and explaining that regardless of what you say, there's a good chance I'm gonna keep going and doing my own thing anyways, right? Unless you're actually here on the mat and ask me those questions, like, and allowing me to explain it to you in the context of here, because that's the thing. We're doing stuff based on this location. The people on the mat who are here and their body types may not be yours, wherever the hell you're at. Understand that. It's been a long time me signing off. So, anyways, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys later. And, yeah.